While exploring the blood-soaked streets of Roseway, you'll eventually find a man dressed in a full face mask named Orson Shaw.
Ah, outlaws, I assume. Do me a favor and let me finish this, will you? And then make it quick, please. Aren't you with the brutes that attacked our lab? Aren't you here to pillage our supplies and leave our corpses to the raptidons?
No, I'm here to help. Someone sent out a distress call.
Oh, well, good luck. Now, if you got the carpet in here.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you were in the middle of something. Sorry about that.
Of course.
I'll just, give you a moment.
It's gotta put it in the power of 12. We're gonna get this solved. I mean, it's really now or never. I'm going to,
Hello?
Oh, you're still here. If you haven't already, you might speak to Anton. He can point you in the right direction.
Okay, well, I've already spoken with Anton. I really just wanted to get your side of the story. Just really trying to help is all. I don't know, So, what are you doing there?
What does it look like? I'm preparing a personal defense device. Or trying to, anyway.
You know, if you run a wire from your computer there, you can bypass the circuit and save a little power.
Why, yes. I suppose I could. Thanks.
You know, I gotta tell you, that thing looks pretty lethal. Are you allowed to mess with tech like that?
Certainly not. But Porter and his goons are busy with the outlaws, and Anton's busy holding his head in his hands. Seems as good a time as any to get a bit of work done.
Need a hand?
No. Well, yes. Well, no. Perhaps. I left schematics in our storage facility. As far as I know, the security commander hasn't found them yet. I admit I'd feel better were they returned to me.
Where is this storage facility?
Out the south gate. Follow the road. It'll be on the left, past the old lab.
I need some more information. Care to elaborate?
I found an advanced pistol when we moved here, but it's broken. I need those schematics to modify it to output superheated air. It should quite easily burn through Raptidon hides.
An anti-Raptidon pistol. Sounds pretty cool to me. Sure, I'll see what I can find.
Say, you wouldn't happen to have a tube of thermal paste on you, would you?
No. No, I wouldn't.
Blast. Well, good luck. I hope I see you back here in one piece.
With that, we can head through the southern gate, pass by the old antibiotics lab on our left, and then follow the road east. You'll know you're on the right track if you eventually come to a bunch of Raptidon heads on spikes sticking out of the ground. From here, we can veer off to the northeast. We find ourselves in the back of the storage facility. So far, there doesn't appear to be anything that wants to shoot us or tear us limb from limb, but as we make our way to the front of the building, we spot marauders.
You got one, Cap? Come on. Let's go!
And we can go ahead and loot the marauders for some ammo and big cartridges. Notably, on one of the corpses, we find a pistol called the Vermin, which truthfully may not be all that uncommon, but at least for me, I had yet to discover it in my playthrough. For those wondering, the Vermin is described as the most powerful pistol on the colonies, using heavy ammo to inflict extreme damage at the expense of recoil. If you prefer pistols to rifles, then you may want to pick this up before heading inside the storage facility. As always, before heading inside, we can do a lap around the building to make sure we grab all of the loot. We find some heavy ammo inside of a bin near a pack of Stogie Slims, and then heading to the back of the building, we can pick up some more heavy ammo. There were a few more marauders hanging out nearby, and though we probably could have slipped under the radar, I decided to take them out just in case. And on that note, we can loop back around to the front of the building and head inside. Inside this first room, we're greeted with 2 doors in front of us, as well as a pathway leading into a larger room to the north. But before we set off exploring, we can read a terminal tucked away against the southern wall. Clicking on Messages reveals that this terminal belonged to Maria Volkova of the administrative support staff. The first entry is an email written from Maria to Anton Crane. Dr. Crane, pursuant to our conversations of the previous week, why is the ammunition storage locker larger than my bathroom? I have dispatched Sullivan with the triplicate paperwork you requested. As a reminder, I am currently the sole property manager for all 3 facilities, and I remain the only person required to sleep on site rather than in Roseway. According to human resources standards, my position entitles me to refreshment facilities of not less than 4 square meters. Wow, seems like Anton Crane is kind of a horrible boss. 4 square meters is an incredibly small amount of space, even for just a bathroom. I spent all yesterday cleaning a man's arm out of a meat grinder, and I don't even have a damn shower out here. Fix it, or I'm going to start breaking into your room and showering there. Then you can experience the joy of cleaning grizzle out of your drain. Remember, I have entire crates of mag picks here. You know I can do it. The next message is written to a man named Reuben, that is, Porter Reuben. I'm starting to run low on caffeine supplements. Any chance you could bring some by? I've had an urge to rearrange my storeroom all day. Maybe you could help with that again? Or not? We could hike to the terraformer. It's been a while since last time. Wind in my hair. Just quiet. I wouldn't mind that. Feels like all I do anymore is mop up viscerae or sit here twiddling my thumbs. I don't know, you tell me. Signed, Masha? Who's Masha? I'm pretty sure in the first email it said the message came from Maria. Anyway, the third email is from Maria to Anton again. Anton, haven't heard back from you, the paperwork. There was a receipt of acknowledgement right on top. I expect you to sign and return it forthwith. While I have your eye, have you heard from Porter? Doesn't seem like anyone's responding to my messages today. Well, we know why. The entire place became overrun with raptidons, as Porter points out in the 4th and final email. Things are hairy out here, he writes to Maria. Lock the doors. Keep your head down. Stay safe, Mashenka. I'll come for you. Okay, now this is starting to make sense. Mashenka, Masha, and Maria are all the same person. I read online that Mashenka is a Russian nickname for Maria. Masha must be a shortened version of Mashenka. Now that we've gotten that squared away, we can go ahead and read the inventory logs. Intake 00473 was logged by Anton Crane about something called Project Winterblue Mount. Notes: the usual issue, 5% incidence of side effect, rising to 15% in 60-plus age bracket. Intake 00474 was also logged by Anton, this time regarding mechanical sentry parts and miscellaneous. Notes: recovered from Doc Orson, dumped them back in the parts locker. And finally, Intake 00475 was written by Orson Shaw regarding a palm-sized cigarette ignition device. Inventory logged for personal use only. Requested a secured workroom to use in my off hours. Assigned a bench in the mechanical maintenance room of the armory. A splendid bonus. Boy, Anton Crane really does treat his employees like crap, doesn't he? Backing out of the terminal, we can open up one of the 2 doors along the western wall. This leads to one of the smallest bathrooms I've seen in the game yet. Seriously, it's more like a porta-potty than anything else. I couldn't imagine having this as my personal bathroom day in and day out. The second door along the western wall leads into a kitchen.
I don't even know how you can get a kitchen this dirty with just canned food.
Yeah, Parvati, I have to agree with you on that one. This place is disgusting. We find flies circling above the tabletops, dirty dishes and cookware, open cans of food. Makes me want to take a shower. There's a few bins we can loot in this room, one of which has a whisper quiet muzzler, and inside some lockers to the north, we can grab some armor parts and bit cartridges. To the west, we find a locked door with a note next to it written by Masha. If you need to get into the armory and don't have the code, ask me. If I'm not around, check the front desk of the antibiotics lab. We already discovered the code that Masha is referring to here in our previous video on the antibiotics lab. It was on the terminal in the main lobby. That being said, we can open the door and step into the armory, where we find a terminal just up ahead. The terminal contains 2 armory logs, the first of which is titled FORCE, please don't let me butcher this here, Phlogisynchrotron Pistol. Status: functional. Untrained personnel must attend Site Safety Seminar S-023 before using. As a seminar officer is not currently available, recommend permanent secure storage. An entire safety seminar just to use one pistol? We haven't seen anything like that so far in the Outer Worlds. I wonder if it's really that dangerous. The second armory log is titled Ammunition Miscellaneous. But when we click it, we get an error message. Error. Ammunition entries not found. Please contact Volkova M and request that ammunition entries be updated as soon as possible in order to maintain our stock for security personnel. Alright, tinfoil hat time. I'm beginning to wonder if Masha's, you know what, I'm just going to call her Maria from this point forward, inability to take stock of the armory's ammunition count exacerbated the impact of the Raptidon attack. What if Anton Crane and his scientists thought that they had plenty of ammo in the armory, only to find out on the day of the attack that their stockpile was actually much lower? What if the reason the Raptidon attack was as bad as it was because the scientists simply didn't have enough ammo to properly defend themselves? Keep in mind that this is just a theory, and I don't profess to have very much supporting evidence for it, but it's certainly possible. We do find a good amount of ammo on a shelf next to the terminal though. Not nearly enough to defend an entire community, but certainly enough for us. In total, we can loot 4 boxes of heavy ammo, 2 boxes of light ammo, 2 boxes of energy cells, and a plasma carbine. Nearby, we find a door leading out of the armory. There's a few lockers and a bin we can loot, and then heading down some stairs, we can enter into Shaw Orson's lab. But we're not alone. Just around the corner, we come face to face with mechanicals.
Unexpected sweeping.
With the mechanicals down for the count, we can have a look around the lab and see what we can find. Next to the door we entered in through, we find a terminal containing 4 maintenance logs. Week 1, Week 2, Week 3, and Week 4. The maintenance log for Week 1 reads, 06's patrol route passed too close to the experimental subject pens. Now there's wrapped spit gunking up the servos in the gun arm. We don't have a replacement arm, so guess we disassemble this one for parts. At least 12 and 17 are still working. Oh well, sounds like the Raptidons were giving the scientists trouble even before they broke loose. In Week 2, Shaw writes, someone tried to disable the mandatory consumer broadcasts on 17. The thing got stuck in maximum volume mode until we factory reset it. Things only get worse in Week 3. 12 had a serious malfunction today, Shaw writes. Porter accidentally tripped one of the sensors inside the walls, so the blasted unit thought everyone was an intruder and just started shooting. We shut it down for now, but we've requested new behavior modules from HQ for the rest of the units. Did HQ ever deliver these new modules? Or did the mechanicals continue to go rogue? In the log for Week 4, we get our answer. No response on the behavior modules. For the time being, we'll just have to hope nobody blows up a wall. What is Anton Crane's problem? First, his property manager makes a request for basic hygienic utilities, and Anton ignores her. Then, Orson Shaw makes a request for new behavior modules to stop the mechanicals from shooting up the place, and again, Anton doesn't respond. To top it all off, the man forgets about Jameson inside the old antibiotics lab, leaving him to fend for himself against the Raptidons. Is he really that selfish? Is he really that uncaring? In the center of the room, we find a small desk, and hanging on the wall above it are the schematics for the FORCE pistol. The description reads, "Detailed drawings of an advanced pistol. Revisions and comments are scrawled across the image in mostly illegible writing, except for the name Orson Shaw scribbled in the corner. The schematics depict a phlogosynchrotron pistol from a brand named FORCE, which is not native to the Halcyon colony. It is unclear from these plans what a phlogosynchrotron does. The sketch of the gun itself doesn't look too impressive at first glance, honestly, but I won't judge it until we get a chance to use it. Also on this desk is a precision spectrum magnification monolens, some energy cells, a magpick, a bypass shunt, and 37-bit cartridges. There's also some loot scattered across the lab in various nooks and crannies, including a magpick on top of a storage shelf in the middle of the room, and some ammo and more bit cartridges inside a couple bins to the north. With the lab fully explored and the schematics in hand, we can head back upstairs, return to the kitchen, and then open a door to the north. We find ourselves in a large warehouse with, what's this? A marauder cowering in fear over a pool of blood? Better put him out of his misery.
Here we go. Nice one.
Here's another one. And another.
Everyone all right?
If we head east across the warehouse, we come to a room with a staircase. Underneath the stairs are some bins containing 9-bit cartridges, and on top of a nearby container we find 2 boxes of light ammo. The stairs in this room lead up to a second floor, but there's more than one way to reach it. In my playthrough, I decided to return to the warehouse and climb up a ladder to the east. From here, we can pass through a door to the south and take out a mechanical sentry. I tell you what, giving Parvati that flamethrower was one of the best decisions I've made in the game yet. Except for a bypass shunt tucked away in the northwest corner, there's hardly any loot in this room, so we can continue onward through a door to the west.
Here we go.
I couldn't find that much loot in this room either. There is a bin along the western wall, but sadly there's nothing inside of it. Boy, what a tease that is. However, we do find a mag pick inside of a bin along the northern wall. Finally, to close out our exploration of the second floor, we can pass through another door to the west. Indeed, this is the living quarters of one of the Anti-Cleo scientists, who sadly lost his life right here beneath his chalkboard. This room is pretty small, especially compared to the rest of the storage facility. I find it hard to believe that the scientists couldn't have been made to live a little bit more comfortably than this. We find some weapon parts on the scientist's body, some adreno inside of a bin, and lots of consumables. Ali Toxifree, Stogie Slims, Metallysis Gel, Zero G Brew, and so on. I did try to get a closer look at the scientist's notes on the chalkboard, but they don't seem to be anything significant. Just some step-by-step instructions for making concentrated distiller. Making our way back downstairs and into the warehouse, we spot a few bins sitting on top of one of the shelves. To reach them, we can hop on top of a couple of containers, but sadly, we're rewarded with just a small amount of light ammo. However, from here, we can jump across the shelving units to reach an unlocked bin, which contains a much larger stash of weapon parts, a cigarette lighter, a mag pick, a hunter kit, which grants you +5 to ranged weapon skills, and a speed grip. That's more like it. And with that, the entire storage facility has been explored. The only thing left to do now is return to Roseway and speak with Orson Shaw, who, as we could have guessed, is still buried in his work.
Have you retrieved my schematics yet?
Yep, I do. Got him right here.
What a relief. You hold months of work in your hands.
Hold on just a minute. Force weapons are contraband. Why didn't you turn this in when you found it?
Anton would have just given them to Porter without a second thought. What a waste of potential that would have been.
Now, I found it interesting that Orson Shaw would say this. So interesting, in fact, that I couldn't help but put it to the test. I wanted to see what Anton Crane would say if we brought the schematics to him instead of Orson. Surprisingly, Anton doesn't seem to care at all.
Orson? Good. It will keep him from wasting my time. Sounds like he might actually be doing something useful for once.
So Orson Shaw is wrong in his assessment of Anton. For what it's worth, he wouldn't have given the schematics to Porter. But Orson, I wonder, what's your secrecy worth?
I see. A proper shakedown. I might have known not to trust a common thug. So be it. I'll buy them off of you.
Done deal.
Much obliged. Here are your bits. Now, let's see here. Attach this, twist that, apply a little pressure, and voila! I can finally call this little side project complete. Thank the law. Oh. I can't be caught with this. You take it. If R&D buys the schematics from me, perhaps I'll get you the first model, hot off the presses. I'll, call you? Yes, I'll call you.
For completing the quest this way, we get a total of 1600 bit cartridges, a healthy dose of experience points, and a pistol based off of the schematics called the Ultimatum. The Ultimatum is an energy weapon that deals 198 damage per second in its vanilla form. It has a relatively large magazine size for a pistol at 15 rounds per magazine, and according to the weapon's description, was used by Earth Directorate soldiers. The Ultimatum was produced by a weapons conglomerate known as FORCE, which owns their own colony in the Septerra star system. DLC, maybe? Hint hint, Obsidian? Hint hint? All in all, the Ultimatum is a pretty decent pistol. It deals a considerable amount of damage at close range, and what I like best about it is the rate of fire. If you've got quick hands, you can easily empty an entire magazine in just a few seconds, which is great when you're dealing with fast-moving Raptidons. If you're the type of player that likes to get up close and personal, then I recommend carrying this weapon with you in your inventory. So we know that if we return the schematics to Orson Shaw, we're rewarded with the Ultimatum and a maximum of 1600 bit cartridges. But what if we bring them to Gladys instead? This sort of information is definitely valuable, after all, especially to someone working on the black market. If we return the schematics to Gladys, then we fail the quest Vulcan's Hammer, but we receive 1500 bit cartridges and become that much closer to getting our hands on the nav key to Stellar Bay. When we tell Orson that we sold the schematics to Gladys, he appears to be disappointed but understanding.
I might have guessed. Such are the risks when hiring mercenaries. Very well, I have got no ability to stop you. Without those schematics, I'll never be able to repair this pistol. What am I going to do with this useless hunk of junk?
Tell you what, Orson, I'll take it off your hands for 100 bits.
Well, it's not like I have a choice in the matter. Here, take it. Now leave, and see that I am never again insulted by your presence.
And here again, we walk away with the Ultimatum. That means that even if we choose to return the schematics to Gladys, there's still a way to get our hands on the Ultimatum by paying Orson for his unfinished project. Of course, choosing this option means we walk away with 1400 bit cartridges, as opposed to 1500 or 1600, but I think that's a small price to pay for such a satisfying ending. Not only do we get one step closer to getting the Stellar Bay nav key, but we also get a decent amount of bit cartridges and, of course, the FORCE Ultimatum. But folks, I want to know what you think of all this. What are your thoughts on the Ultimatum? Is it a good weapon, or do you think it's overrated? And what about Anton Crane? Why do you think he ignores requests from his employees as often as he does? Is he a bad guy, or just engrossed in his work? Let me know in the comments below. I post new videos on the Outer Worlds every Wednesday and Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be alerted when I post new content. If you're so inclined, leave a like on this video too. I'd really appreciate it. I'll be back in just a few days with a brand new video on the Outer Worlds, But that's all I've got for now. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.